see if this is working before we get too far into it. No, I do not want to rate the app. All right, I think it's working. And I think that we're here for another Ring of Honor TV review, episode number 120 to be exact. Very similar to last week's episode. Not a whole, kind of the past month with ROH. Not too much craziness going on, and I kind of understand it because AEW've had a busy ass schedule, back-to-back weeks of 4-hour television. You know, I understand it's difficult to squeeze ROH into that, even though off the top of my head, I want to sound like an asshole. They could have just, did separate tapings for ROH, but, that didn't happen. Can't happen now. Over, done with. Now, that being said, speaking of complicated ass schedules, next week will be another example of that. Now, last week they announced ROH Global Wars Mexico because they are doing Grand Slam Mexico for AEW the Wednesday. This Tuesday, they're doing a AEW/CMLL show. It's very complicated and all over the place. The only thing that I'm really certain with is the stuff that's happening at Grand Slam Mexico on the Wednesday. So that's the simplest way to put it. But that being said, whenever Global Wars Mexico airs for ROH, I will try my best to review it. This is me giving my prediction/guess. So nothing is really set in stone. This is just me guessing. They're going to do Grand Slam Mexico Wednesday. I think next Thursday they will do a regular episode of ROH because I know that they have taped some things that did not air tonight, and they could air it next Thursday. Now, if it was me, I would air Global Wars Mexico on Friday because Collision should be at its regular time slot, regular day next week. It should be on Saturday. Or they could upload Global Wars Mexico on the Sunday. Point being, I don't know when the hell it's going to get uploaded. Hopefully, it's done in a reasonable time. I don't think that they would want to hold on to the footage for too long, capitalize on being in Mexico and it being during the week, etc. So, I don't know when the episode will be uploaded, the special will be uploaded, but I'm excited for it. And I don't even know anything that's going to happen on it. So, we'll get to that when we get to that, but we got a couple of things to get through in this week's Ring of Honor TV review. So sorry for taking so long to get into what actually happened, but here we go. Episode 120 of Ring of Honor on Honor Club. And I got a special bonus for y'all, which hopefully, I would imagine that you see it in the thumbnail. We'll get to it when we get to it. But our opening contest this week was Atlantis Jr. and Templorio versus Magnus and Volador Jr. This is Lucha Rules, so that means that tags do not have to be made. And I'll tell you this now, there's all of these competitors entering in and out of the ring, so I don't have to specify when tags happen because, generally speaking, there was no tags that happened during the most of this match. But Volador Jr. and Templorio started the match off, but there's no code of honor between the two. Once Atlantis Jr. appears in the ring, he has to take on both opponents, but he does land a dive onto Magnus on the outside. Back in the ring, Templorio is trapped in his opponent's corner. Magnus tries taking off Atlantis Jr.'s mask at one point, with Atlantis Jr. responding with a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker onto both of his opponents, and then he ends the match with a frog splash on Volador Jr. as Atlantis Jr. and Templorio win the bout. If Atlantis Jr. is competing in a match in ROH, you better guess that he's going to win. I don't think that I have seen him lose a match in Ring of Honor just yet. Now, this matchup has been building up for weeks, months, and Ian Riccaboni even said years, which, to be fair, is kind of true. This matchup is Preston Vance versus Evil Uno. The frat house have been running wild on Ring of Honor for the past number of weeks, with Evil Uno and Alex Reynolds suggesting to their former Dark Order member, hey, this group, Preston Vance, this group's not really the best for you, and Preston Vance has kind of told them to F off, even though they obviously have not, because we have this one-on-one matchup taking place. We get an immediate brawl to start this match off, and it goes in and out of the ring. And again, Ian Riccaboni mentions smart, because the frat house, There's 3 of them. Some weeks there's more because they have their pledges, which pledges were there. With that many people on the outside, they get involved. So Ian Rakbani did point out, very smart, that Uno was smart to take the match to the outside very early because the referee's not distracted by all of those members, even though it comes back to bite him. So there's that, and the frat house, like I said, get involved. Vance attempts a lariat, but Uno reverses it into a pile driver and then a lariat of his own. But again, the referee is distracted before a pinfall is even to be made, with Vance hitting Uno with a paddle that was handed to him. So Vance picks up the victory. Then after the match, the frat house tried to attack Uno and Alex Reynolds, but John Silver, the meat man, makes his return and runs off the frat house members. You could have, really helped your stablemates out a bit earlier, but better late than never. Later on in let's restart the match. Later on in the show, the Dark Order cut a promo with John Silver, mentioning that he is back, and they challenge any 3 members of the frat house, anytime, anywhere, any place. So this beef will obviously continue. Red Velvet takes on Harlan. Kind of looks like an M. Harlan Lopez next. Before this matchup, Velvet does cut a backstage promo mentioning that she'll be competing at an event in Mexico next week. Like I said, there are a lot going on, so I don't know exactly which one she's specifying. It might be the Tuesday AEW CMLL show, but we'll see when we see. Lopez lands a nice butterfly suplex, but other than that, it is a dominant Velvet performance, winning with the straight out of your mama's kitchen, which I will admit, at one point, Red Velvet's move was named the Mix. I thought it was the Stir. It might have been replaced and called the Straight Out of Your Mama's Kitchen. All of them are obviously cooking / cupcake, cake references. I don't know the difference in the moves, and it confuses the hell out of me because I feel that every time it's called something else. So, other than that, Velvet picks up another victory. She is almost at a year of holding this women's television championship, if that means anything to anybody. Speaking of champions, the pure champions involved in this next matchup, Shane Taylor Promotions versus Von Vertigo, Martian Webb, Riley Rambo, and Joe Domingo. Yes, there's a lot of names to write down. To start off the show, Shane Taylor Promotions cut a promo saying that they are tired of waiting and now is the time to take over, and they plan on doing that. And they put on a dominant performance in this matchup. Dean and Riley start the match off, but like I said, Shane Taylor Promotions puts on a dominant performance with each member tagging in at one point of the matchup, mainly delivering big and thunderous chops, and Moriarty, the pure champion, secures the victory for his squad with a Border City stretches it. Now, it is time to go to our main event matchup in the Proving Ground, Bandido taking on Mansoor. Now, this is not the first time that this has happened, and it is a little bit bothersome. It's not the biggest deal, but it kind of is to me. So, sorry about this. They mentioned on commentary that Bandido never lost his original Ring of Honor World Championship, and he had to relinquish it. Now, if you want to time travel back to the end of 2021, the main event of Final Battle was supposed to be Bandido versus Jonathan Gresham for the Ring of Honor World Championship, and Bandido ended up sick. And so he had to be replaced with Jay Lethal in a quote-unquote interim title match. Now, why is this a big deal? They're just lying to us. Because the very first main event of the Tony Khan era of Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor 2022, was a title unification match with Bandido versus Jonathan Gresham, in which Jonathan Gresham won. And it's not like, well, Bandido, he came out with the damn title and had to give the title up. He lost the title. They're trying to rewrite history because they do not, I imagine they do not like Jonathan Gresham, if, seeing how their time with him ended. Now, why am I bringing this up? Because it makes a good plug, because the last couple of retro reviews that I did was me talking about Supercard of Honor 2022 and Death Before Dishonor 2022, which covers all of these situations that I just mentioned here. So they mentioned it here. They mentioned it when Bandido was challenging for the Ring of Honor World Championship against Jericho a couple months ago. So they just gonna keep on with this. But I'll tell you how it actually happened. Point being, long tangent there. I just mainly did it for the cheap plug. Let's get into this Proving Ground bout with Bandido versus Mansoor. Bandido has the upper hand at first, even taunting Mansoor for the early portion with it, mainly with his little finger pose. I don't want to say what it actually is, but you understand what it is. Bandido lands a tornado off the top rope and then a body slam and frog splash for a 2 count. Mansoor's butterfly suplex gets a 2 count, and then the referee is distracted by Mansoor with Mason Madden, Johnny TV, and Taya Valkyrie on the outside, ripping at Bandido's mask. But the referee, this is one of the times the referee is smart in this situation, turns around and catches them doing this and ejects them from this match. So it's just Bandido and Mansoor left. Mansoor misses a moonsault attempt, and then Bandido hits the X knee and 21 plex to pick up the victory. Then after the match, Big Shotty Lee Johnson runs out, and I thought he was going to try to challenge for this ROH World title. And I screamed, no, F no, because I will be the asshole to say it. He has done nothing to deserve a Ring of Honor World Championship match. They could do a Proven Ground bout. I'd still kind of feel the same way, but it was just a setup because his tag partner, Blake Christian, came out and attacked Bandido. They were both attacking on Bandido. Mascara Dorada making the save as they have a matchup. Now, this, like I said, I know there's a bunch of matchups this coming week in Mexico for AEW/Ring of Honor. This matchup, Bandido versus Mascara Dorada, is on the Tuesday show. So there is that. But we got one more. This is a special bonus for y'all. We got one more match to talk about. This was not on the ROH episode, but it's a Bandido match. He is our Ring of Honor World Champion. I should definitely do this more often, and I might start to do this more often, but they made it easy on me because they uploaded most of the matchup to YouTube. The only thing that was cut out was the things that happened during commercial break, which was not the biggest deal. But this past week, like I said, AEW had a 4-hour block, Summer Blockbuster, Dynamite and Collision. They're split into 2 parts, but the whole event is the Summer Blockbuster. And one of these standby matches, which this is a crazy ass match to have as a standby match, was Bandido versus the Beast Mortos, 2 of my favorites in AEW and Ring of Honor. I wish Beast Mortos was in Ring of Honor more, and I'll even throw out the suggestion he should be a champion in Ring of Honor, the TV champion. Maybe him and the rest of LFI become 110%. I have said this for legitimately the past year. Beast Mortos, Drilistico, Roosh should be the 6-man tag champions in Ring of Honor. Make it happen. Because the Von Erichs and Dustin Rhodes very rarely, if ever, defend the damn tag titles. I want to see LFI as the ROH 6-man tag champions. But, get to this matchup. A bonus for y'all. I'm talking about Bandido versus the Beast Mortos from Summer Blockbuster, the Collision portion. It was the standby match. The title was not on the line. It was not even a Proven Ground match. It was a standby match, as I said. We get an immediate clash to start this match off. Mortos is tossed over the top rope with Bandido following it up with a tope suicida. We get a spear by Mortos once they are back in the ring. Bandido's body slam and frog splash gets a 2 count. Mortos reverses the 21 plex and follows it up with a massive pop-up Samoan drop for a 2 count. We get a series of roll-ups resulting in 2 counts after this. With both men on the top rope, Bandido delivers a fall-away slam moonsault, picking up the victory. So we got 2 big Bandido victories this week. And I'll 100% be honest with you, I flew by that matchup. It was a very quick matchup. Like I said, the standby matchup was the 3rd and final time that I'll be saying it. This is also a matchup, fun fact, that happened at PWG Mystery Vortex 7, which was PWG's first event back after the pandemic. I'm trying to think. It's either Mystery Vortex 6 or 7. Ow. I just immediately hit my leg. As I'm looking at the Blu-ray. It is 7. I'm correct. Check out that match. Check out that show when you get the time. So, like I said, we got a lot going on next week in the world of AEW and by virtue Ring of Honor. I'm trying to see if we're still on. I'm going to hope that I didn't mess it up. I'm going to hit my leg. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, no. Is it? Hello, hello, hello. All right, I think it's still working. I hope it's still working. Because we're at the end of the video. So I do appreciate y'all for watching this. I'll see y'all when I see y'all. I'm out for now. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.